everybody, this is Dave Cohen from Guitar Tales, and we have Eddie Testa of a band that bears his name, the Eddie Testa Band. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
And thank you for Scott, Guitarmacist Engel. Scott connected us. How long have you known Mr. Scott?
Probably 2 or 3 years at least. I would say just from the circuit area, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, oh, go on. I cut you off.
You know, you don't get to meet too many people. You just see them in passing. They're going here, you're going there, you're playing there, they're playing there. So sometimes you're lucky enough to be in the same room and do a benefit or a show together or something. So
Right.
that's how I met.
Now, and so you guys run in the same circles. Are you at like Bar A and Stone Pony and those kind of places around there?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
now, how has COVID been treating you? You know, like in other words, you know, I'm asking all our guests what it's like to be a musician who can't get out there in front of people. And today, I don't know if you heard on the news, Sammy Hagar was interviewed by Rolling Stone, and he said, "It's okay if I die. I have to get out and play in front of people." You know, what are you feeling? It's very controversial.
I feel the same way, but you know, you got to go with the times and what they are. As far as COVID, I just played my first show since March on Father's Day.
Wow.
We played outside at MJ's in Bayville, and it was cool, man. Everybody's social distancing. You know, the band was more not social distancing than anybody. We were like, come on up and sing a song and hang out, and we just had a ball. So it was cool. But a lot of the people I knew, and I knew where they were and who they've been around. So we kind of all have our own little clique, you know.
Right. I mean, even with my kids, you know, I've got an adult and an almost adult kid, and you know, like I know where their universes take them, and you know, I kind of bring that little universe in. But otherwise, I haven't. I'm just in my house all day long. I haven't been to a grocery since March. You know, I do the curbside.
Well, I've been fortunate enough that I've been able to work every day. I have a restaurant, so.
Oh, you do? Where's your restaurant?
Down in Tom's River. And,
which one?
Chicken Town on Fisher.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've been working every day.
Oh, wow.
I'm very fortunate, you know. I was lucky. I was lucky to get out of the house and go somewhere. So that was nice.
That is. It's good. You know, it's funny. A big event for me is getting my mail, because at least it gets me.
I don't want to get the mail.
No, I know. Oh, I'm neurotic about it.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be one of those old guys that, you know, you're going to stand by the mailbox at 10 o'clock in the morning and wait for the mail truck to come? You're going to be one of those guys?
No, I'm crazy in a different way. And really, after 9/11, I remember with that whole when they were worried that people were sending carcinogens in envelopes. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I didn't touch my mail for a few months. A few months, but I mean, my mailbox was over. So now I'll go to my mailbox every few days, and then I open everything. I'm really careful not to bring my hands to my face. And then after everything is outside of the envelope, I figure because it's been in an envelope for at least a couple of days, that's safe. But after I touch the outside envelopes, I thoroughly wash my hands, and then I deal with my mouth, which is crazy.
I guess you have to be that way, you know, but I just want to know, if the lights go out in your house, that means you didn't get your electric bill and pay it on time?
Correct, yes.
If the interview goes short and it goes dark, you know why.
That's exactly why. That's right. And so you own a restaurant. So tell me about your restaurant. I always like to hear about the day jobs of the guitar players we have on the show.
I'm sorry?
Tell me about your restaurant.
It's a fast food chicken and rib place. Fried chicken, ribs, seafood, all the fixing stuff you want. You know, I've been there for 26 years. You know, there's no money in music. You got to make money somewhere. So I had to.
You got to have a day job.
Yeah.
So in 1983, I was a chicken man at KFC.
Well, you're my competition. I can't talk to you anymore. I'll have to say goodbye.
There was one time I stole the little bag with the secret recipe, because it was 2 pounds of salt, 20 pounds of flour, and about 12 ounces of the secret recipe. And I stole one, brought it home, And I remember I wrote down all the, whatever it is, the 11 or 13 herbs and spices. But it was just pepper. That's all it really was. It was just pepper.
Yeah, so just salt, pepper, cayenne. Yeah, it's easy. But listen, I make everything myself fresh.
Oh,
So
that's great.
the difference, you know, that's the difference. I'm not a chain. You know, there's a couple of us, but that's it.
Well, I'm going to come down and try your chicken. I love fried chicken.
Come on down, man. I'm there.
will.
I'm there every day except Sunday.
Well, I'm definitely going to check it out. So since we are called Guitar Tales, I guess I should talk a little bit about guitar. So tell me about your band. What kind of stuff do you guys play?
We play anything from Motown to Mozart. That's how I like to describe it. Mozart to AC/DC and everything in between. We try to do. You know, we do a little bit of everything. Some fun. We try to be like a party dance, high energy dance band, but rock style. You know, we don't do any disco stuff. Well, actually, we do. We've done it. You know, but we just try to go out and have fun. We don't try to take ourselves too seriously. We want to be good, but we want to have fun and everybody have fun. So that's kind of like how the band is built around that. You know, just having a good time.
And that's great. You know, if there's any sort of recurring theme that I'm getting off of all our guests, and believe me, the people we get on the show are vetted, more by Scott than by me because he knows the scene better. Every successful musician we've met so far says what you said, which is you're so focused on giving the audience a good time. It's not about your ego. It's not about you. It's about making people who come see you feel happy, right?
Well, that's the whole thing. It's not about us. We're there to make people happy, but those people also make us happy because you know it's a two-way. You know, we both are feeding off each other. You know, you've been in places where people aren't into it. The band's not into it. But I always look at it. If there's one person into it, I'm into it. But I'm always into it because that's what I feel like I have to do because it makes me feel just as good as them receiving. I mean, I'm getting the same thing they're getting because I'm feeding off them. So that's how I always perceive it. You know.
I think that's a great thing. And the funny thing is what I think is obvious to you and obvious to all the guests we've had thus far on the show. And again, that's why I think the vetting has been so important. I'm sure in your years in your band, you've encountered other bands where it's not about the audience and it's about them and they probably don't last too long.
Well, I think if you're in it to have an ego, to build your own self, I think a lot of times that's what happens because other people don't want to play with you.
Oh,
when you get guys that are egotistical, they don't last too long in your band. It's got to be a cohesive environment that everybody feels the same. And listen, we're older guys. We know that. And we're just blessed and fortunate that we are able to be out there and still play and still enjoy it and bring joy to people. So at our age, it's a blessing. So
that's really beautifully stated. You know, you're reminding me. Do you know Mooch from Big Bang Baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were chatting.
Yes.
We had a really nice panel show, and Tommy Janaron and Scott were on, and Mooch was talking about his responsibility as the head of the band, and in the context of what you're talking about, I think it'll be interesting. He was talking about what do you do when you lead a band and the love and the joy that you bring. You see one of the people you brought into your band, maybe for whatever reason, isn't there anymore. You know, have you ever had over the years a need to deal with personnel issues where they're not bringing the love to the stage and it's sort of pulling people down?
I honestly have not played with anybody that's ever been there because guys that we had to replace and try to replace other people, if you click with a guy right away, you know he's the guy for the band. And I've never really cared about how great a musician you are. I more care about the greatness of the person because you can make a great player better by just being in a good band with other guys that are just in the same vibe. You know, if everybody's on the same page and everybody's out there to do a job, if you're there just to play to make money, you're not in my band.
Right,
You know,
right.
I wouldn't play with a guy. I mean, it's not about the money because there's not really much money anymore. It's really about going out and playing with a bunch of guys that you are family, and you bring that family to everybody's party, because the way everybody in my band feels the same way. We played Some Kind of Wonderful more than Grand Funk Railroad has played it, but the fact of the matter is that people want to hear that. The one night we don't do it, somebody comes up and goes, "How come you didn't do Some Kind of Wonderful?" And you go, "If I have to do that song one more time, I'm going to shoot myself." But then you have to realize it's not about you. It's about them. And that's what you have to bring and make it happy for them. Because I'll tell you the biggest compliment I ever had received. And you know how bands, we all play the same, like you do the same set, maybe Friday night and Saturday, maybe every other week. And you play the same songs. And the one night I was sitting at a bar and a lady came over to me and she said, "You know, I got to tell you something about your band." And I said, "Oh my God, here we go." Tell me that. She knows every song after the other. And I said, I was joking around. I said, "Is this about we play the same song all the time?" And she goes, "I don't even care about the songs. It's the people you bring to your shows that are like," she's met so many people through being around our band that it filled her life, because she was going through problems in her life. And after I talked to her and I realized that I had seen her at a couple different places, but the people that come to us are not fans, they're my friends. I actually know almost everybody that comes and sees us. And if I don't know you and I'm introduced to you, I remember you the next time. Might not remember your name, but I remember your face.
Right.
So it's sometimes you go see you go see bands and you see group of the same people. Well, they're there for the band and supporting, and that's what we want. We love that. We love that love that people bring to us. But it's also a social gathering of the people that are there, that enjoy all the people that are there. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, and I think it's really beautiful. It's really amazing. You know, our show. You and I were chatting before we hit the record button for a few minutes. So we're probably about 15 months into this Guitar Tales show, and I'm getting consistent themes. And what I love from hearing from you is the notion that your professional job outside of your day job, is to bring joy and happiness to people. And I love what you said, that the woman who approached you was going through a rough time. And I love the notion that someone can put those worries aside for a little bit of time and enjoy the music. And yes, right, Some Kind of Wonderful, and it's a fantastic song. And I would imagine you probably played it about 5,000 times. I think in weaker moments, you might say, "Oh my God, I don't want to play this again." But then there's that next time when you play it and you look down in the audience and someone just is smiling from ear to ear, and you say, "That's why I'm playing it every day," right?
Exactly. That's the whole thing. It's not what we want. It's what we have to do. And like I said, those there's days I go out and I don't feel so happy. And then I get the lift from the people who come and see us. And I always said, 3 people or 300 people, doesn't matter.
Right.
If you can make somebody feel good, because at the end of the day, they're going to make me feel good about myself. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Right. And the funny thing is, I'm thinking about, oh my God, 1985, 86, I saw U2 down at the Cap Center in Maryland. And Bono, during Bad, does the come on down, when he's doing the Bad song. And that's different. That's 30,000 people feeding Bono, and I love Bono, but 30,000 people feeding his ego. But what you're talking about is something very different. I think what you're talking about is you're pushing a lot of positivity and love into three, into the heads of 3 people or a couple hundred people or 300 people, and then you're feeling it back. It's not an ego thing; it's a love thing, right? And
Oh
it's a
yeah,
joy thing.
it's
I
a
think it's
human.
really,
It's a human thing.
yeah,
We all want to feel needed and loved and cared and liked, right? We all want to be liked. Some days I don't like myself. People make me feel like I should like myself.
that's
So
yeah,
there's a lot of things that go on in people's heads, It's not I go
yeah,
out and go, hey, look at me. I'm the best thing since sliced bread. There's a million great singers. There's a million great bands. We have a million great people along the Jersey Shore that do this every day, day and night, that are just fantastic musicians, better than me, not as good as me. I don't know, and I don't care. You know why? Because they're all my friends, and
yeah.
I'm
And
very
you're a part of this.
that's what I was just going to say. I'm very fortunate to be a part of all that and be accepted into that. And there's no ridicule and there's no judgment. And when I get into a room with a guy who's I just admire, whoever it may be, I'm in awe of them, and they go, man, you sing great, and I go, wow, man, that's a great compliment, because I can't sing as good as you. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So
You're checking your ego at, oh, I mean, that's an old thing, but you're checking your ego at the door. You're not even walking in with your ego, because it's not how
well,
you
yeah,
walk this earth,
right.
right? So, I want to touch on something. I think for that same show, I think it was Tommy Janarone who was talking about it. It could have been Mooch, but I don't think so. He was talking about the fact that there's something very different and something very special about the Jersey Shore music scene that really is not replicated anywhere else. And when I hear you talking about just sort of all the mutual support, you're going this way and Scott Engel's going this way as you guys pass each other, going from gig to gig, either literally or metaphorically. Is there something that you see that's really unique and wonderful and special about that whole Jersey Shore and band scene?
Well, I've gone to New York and sat in clubs in there, and because I know people that are in bands or putting a show together, and the New York thing, New York musicians, they're fantastic. I mean, they're great, but they're more like artists.
Right.
They're artistic, and they're not, they're great musicians, and the ones I know from New York, they're fantastic people, but they have a different vibe about themselves. I've been to Nashville, very warming, very welcoming, but they're all pieced together a lot of times. A lot of times you don't get, bands that stick together. You'll see a guy playing with one guy, and then you go into another bar, the next night he's playing with another guy, because that's how they have to live their lives. It's not because they don't want to be in full-time bands, but if you're a musician out there, you have to juggle a lot of things to make money, because out there you don't get paid like here. Out in Nashville, you walk around with a bucket, and your tips are what you get paid by.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So those are the things I've seen. I don't know if it's all true, but the thing, when I go there, that's what it's like. But the Jersey Shore, you walk in, and they know you're in a band or you're a player, and they don't even know you that well. They just, come on up and play. Come on up and sing. Come on up and bang it. They're so welcoming and so loving. They want to be your friend. They want you to be part of the circle. And I think that's what brings the Jersey Shore. Plus, I think we have our own kind of little sound too. Like Nashville has theirs, New York has theirs, LA has theirs, Georgia has theirs. You name a spot, everybody's got theirs. We have a unique sound here also. And you can hear a country, somebody doing country, but they still got that Jersey in them. And that's what makes it really cool, I think.
That makes sense. And you've got that pedigree. You're a Freehold boy originally, which is where the boss is from.
Right. Yeah.
And so now, how old are you?
I'm 62.
Holy shit! I thought you were going to tell me like late 40s.
I wish I was.
So are those plugs, or is that real?
I'm sorry?
Are those plugs, or is that real hair?
Hair, man. That's
wow,
me.
look at that.
I'm a lucky guy.
You are. Look at me. I'm part of the hair challenge community.
I give you a rub.
I got a little peach fuzz, which I'm happy to have, but that's about it.
Hey, man.
62. See, you're only like 5 or 6 years younger than Bruce, right? Was he early 70s?
I'm actually 8 years younger than Bruce.
Okay.
When I was younger, I used to see Bruce around town and stuff like that, not too much, because by the time I got older, he was already like in New York and doing his thing, in California or wherever he was. But I knew him. I didn't know him like to knock on his door and hang out at his house.
Right.
I was friends with, I was more friendly with Vinny Lopez and George Thies and guys that he was in bands with throughout the years.
Right.
And, because I started going to the Stone Pony when I was about 16. And
so did you see him there?
I didn't see him there when I saw him when he played with Cats in the 80s and stuff like that.
Right.
But I didn't really, my brother actually used to work for Bruce.
Really? So
he was a roadie for him back way before Bruce was even big, and he used to help him, So I really, being 8 years younger when you're 15 and they're 22,
right.
You're not really seeing a lot of connection. But I would see him in places, and if he was around, I would see him, and he would say hi. It isn't like, believe me, we are not anywhere best friends or anything like that, but he knows I'm a Freehold boy. I've been around. I know, he knows who I am. I obviously know who he is, but
right.
We're not buddies where I can't call him on the phone and say, hey, I'm coming over your house and hanging out. And
right.
many times I feel like I should try to go talk to him, but I respect his life,
Yeah.
And I'm happy that if he sees me, he says hello, and he doesn't nix me off or try to keep me shied away. So you got to give people their space. I don't care who they are, whether they're famous in whether they're nobody. If they don't want to talk to you, fine. If they do want to talk to you, you talk to them.
Right, that makes sense. And he's a guy who's really, I gotta say, like of the rockers who are past 60, let's say, or even past 70 for that matter, he's really stayed him. I think he's a pretty damn authentic guy, all considered.
Listen, I'm a Beatle freak, a Rolling Stones nut. I like all those bands. I'm a Otis Redding, Sam Cooke. I'm into all that stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, there's just because he's from Jersey and from Freehold, that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is the guy's a hell of a performer, a writer, and I try to, when I write songs, because I write my own stuff, and I don't try to emulate him or the Beatles or the Stones, but it all comes out somewhere a little bit. Because listen, if you're not gonna imitate the best, how good can you get?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And everyone is building on things that they grew up with and what they've learned. There's no way from a creative point of view you can't be influenced. There's that great songwriter Danny Partridge, if you remember.
Yeah.
He wrote that fantastic song that his brother Keith actually wrote, if you remember that episode. That is about the most fucked up reference I've ever had on this show. But do you remember that episode of the Partridge Family?
No, I don't remember it off the top of my head now.
Danny writes this amazing song, but it turns out he heard his older brother Keith Partridge playing it in his sleep.
Oh.
Yeah, that is that's a bad reference. But yeah, you grew up in such a sort of the heartland of Jersey music. So even though Bruce grew up in Freehold as you did, he goes on and becomes famous, and he started earning his stripes on the Jersey Shore, and that's where you're doing a lot of your work too. So it's nice that you're cut from the same cloth, and it's almost like grapes growing in the same soil.
Right. It's funny because I guess I do a lot I never actually, believe it or not, up until about 11 years ago, I only did one Bruce Springsteen song my whole life in cover bands.
Okay.
Because I really tried to stay away from that because there were so many Bruce bands around.
Yeah.
And listen, I have every album, I have everything about Bruce. But the past 10 years, I've really dug into like playing his music with my band. And I tell you the truth, man, I could play 10th Avenue Freeze Out 4 times a night, and I would never get tired of it. You know,
that song is so good.
Yeah, I mean, I just have embraced it so much. I just love his music. But before that, I didn't do a lot of it. I didn't do hardly any of it. I would do like an old song, like Rosalita or something. Occasionally, occasionally I wanted to stay away from that as much as I could. But now I just man, I can't wait to go out and play and do Out in the Streets or Glory Days, or I just love them songs,
What's the 9/11 song that he wrote that's so amazing?
He did?
Yeah, he wrote a song for 9/11.
The Rising.
Yeah, The Rising. I've seen that live a couple of times. And so in 9/11, he was late 50s probably. And to write something that powerful, I mean, usually rock guys, they kind of spend all of their creative, can't think of the metaphor, but they use up all their creative juices, probably by the time they hit 40 usually. And
I always think that I used up my creative juices until I write the next song.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, and I think there are going to be people who can sort of break that convention,
Yeah. Listen, his timing is impeccable. The guy surfaces and shows up when needed. When people are looking for something special, when they want to do something, like when he did the Broadway thing, and the movie came out when we needed something to follow or do something. It's just his universe is always like intact, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like he said in his show, I don't know if you went to see him in New York.
I didn't.
Broadway,
no.
but he said, he goes, I'm a great, I don't know the exact words, and it's not a quote, but he has everybody fooled, but he always comes through and fools us again. You know what I mean?
I like
just
that.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that put records out. We don't ever hear about them because maybe we're not that much into them. But people are putting music out all the time. We just, maybe you're not following such a band, but they put out an album last year, Mm-hmm. So if you're not into them and they're not relevant to you, you probably don't hear about it. But there's a lot of people doing. I just saw a thing on the other day. Tower of Power did something, and I was blown away. I was like, they did a Zoom thing with all the band members playing.
Oh, yeah, I know. Tower of Power's been around forever, right?
Yeah, they've been around since the 80s.
They got like the big horn section, right?
Yeah. But
yeah, I think I knew about them in college. They've been around like a really long time, right?
Yeah, maybe since the 70s. I don't remember, but I know in the 80s I've heard of them.
Yeah.
But everybody's doing. Listen, a musician is a musician. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Guys that sit home. I always envy the guys that don't play out, because there's so many guys sitting home, and I see your guitar back there.
Yeah.
And you may not think you're good, but you probably are better than you think you are. And I know so many guys that are in the garage, in the basement, in their living room playing, and they're phenomenal, and they don't go out and play. Those guys blow me away. They don't have the confidence, they don't have the time, whatever the reasons are. But I think like I would love to hear you play. You know what I mean? And sing and do something. musically. I love music, so anything. I like jazz guys. I like R&B. I like hip. I don't care.
Well, I'll
I like
cut a
it
deal
all.
with you right now. I would love to sit in with you guys. I'll do a song with you guys. I'd love to. Don't let me sing
Anytime.
because I can't sing.
Listen, you can fake like you're singing. If you're that bad, we'll turn the microphone on.
So I sang one song in my entire band career, which is limited to college and a little bit of law school. You ever hear the King Bees?
Yeah.
They were a British band, and there was a song, Let Myself Go. And there is somewhere in this world is a video of me one time ever singing in a band in front of people.
Really?
And I pulled it off. I wasn't good, but I got, I kind of got by. So I once actually sang in a band. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
It's a very good song. It's a fun little song, Let Myself Go.
What's it called?
It is called Let Myself Go by the King Bees. You can get it on YouTube and things like that. It's a great little song.
Look it up. Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah. But sure, I will commit to embarrassing but not embarrassing myself. I'd love to play with you guys sometime.
We would never as a band embarrass you or let yourself embarrass yourself. We as a band like when people come up and shine. We want them to shine. We have our day in the sun.
Right.
We've had our day in the sun. So if somebody comes up and sings and they're fantastic, that's a great thing. We want them to shine. And when they're not that good and they come up and they just want to have fun because they're with a group of people and somebody wants to hear their friends sing a song because it's somebody's birthday or their birthday, come up. And then when it starts going south, we help them out. That's all.
Well, that's the beauty, right? I actually have a video. I'm divorced, but I'm friends with my ex. We did Jumpin' Jack Flash at my wedding. And my buddy and I, my old college band singer and I, in my wedding did Jumpin' Jack Flash. So here's a funny little thing. So I was negotiating with my ex-wife. She wanted me to get my nails done for the wedding. This was a negotiation. I had no mail card left. It was just gone. So I said, I will do buffing, but I will not let them put anything on my hands, but only if you let me play Jumpin' Jack Flash at our wedding. That was the negotiation I had. I'm not married.
Oh. How are your nails?
They're fine. They're fine. They were buffed out. They were buffed out. I want to let them put polish on.
I bite my nails constantly, so there's no help for me.
No. But yeah, I have that video of it, and we were relatively okay. I screwed up, but to your point, I couldn't remember the bridge because it was unprepared, and the band, while I was fumbling my way through a very simple bridge, but I just couldn't remember the chords, the band took care of me. And they did what you said. They made me look moderately okay. And then when we came back to the regular verse, I was fine.
We certainly don't want to, any band doesn't want someone to come up and embarrass themselves.
Right.
We want to make them look the best they can look for what they could do.
Right.
And if they're great, that's even a plus. But if they're not so great and they're having a fun and we all turn around and laugh and everybody just goes, that was hell. Right. That was fun as hell. That's what it's all about, man. Like I said in the beginning, we're there for the people. And as long as the people don't get rowdy, don't fall down drunk on the stage, let's have some fun, man. That's what it's all about.
It's good stuff. So let me ask you this. As is typical for our show, I feel like it's been 2 minutes and I just looked at my clock here. What do you have going on next?
Actually, this Friday, I did that song for the first responders and frontline workers. I did that song, That's How It's Done.
Let me write that down. That's How It's Done?
Yeah, That's How It's Done. I don't know if you saw it. It's a.
I've not.
Oh, I did a song. I wrote a song. It's called That's How It's Done. And what I did was I had everybody, I posted it on Facebook, and then I just invited anybody to make a video clip of 10, 15 seconds of them singing any part.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a good friend of mine, Tommy Cadawas. He put all the clips together, and then my sound guy, who is also my guitar player in the band, Jeff Hawkins, he did the audio.
Oh,
It came
wow.
out for what it was fantastic. You got to watch it. It's really cool.
Well, I'm going to watch it the second I hit stop recording. I'm going to watch it right away. I'm excited to see it.
It's cool. That's how it's done. It's under, you can find it on my Facebook page or on, I think it's on New Jersey Music Stay at Home
Okay.
group, but it's around. And so the Pony is doing a New Jersey Musicians Fund benefit.
Oh, that's the one where Scott's playing at that too. Scott Engel is it? He's playing like one song, the Smoking Jackets, right?
Exactly. So I'm doing that one song on Friday night. I'm going to record. It's going to be all recorded.
That's right. It's going to be it's going to be on TV, right?
I don't know what they're going to do with it. I just know that the band comes in, does their song, and they have to leave, and then the next band comes in.
That's what I heard. Yep.
So we're doing ours. I'm doing that song Friday night. I'm going to do that song again, but live.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Because it's for a benefit, so I might as well do that song.
That's fantastic. And then are you starting to see some gigs open up for the summer?
Well, I just did a gig on Father's Day at MJ's in Bayville. The patio bar and those outdoor shows are iffy, so they're on you're on last minute call. Like we're going to do it this way. The inside places, they're all really canceled. Any inside gigs. I do have a couple of things booked in August that are inside parties that are still on at this point. But like I'm doing 4th of July party, backyard party for a bunch of people. A couple of outside things. I'm hoping that when I do the Long Branch does the beach bands on the beach.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Huh?
I don't know about that. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, they have a series like almost every town. You know, it's an outside concert. People bring their chairs and hang out.
Right, right.
There's the bands on the beach, and they do something else. And then downtown Freehold does something in July. They do every Thursday downtown Freehold, but I don't know how far they're going to go before they can it or do it. So the way bands are working right now and clubs are working right now is that you're on call, basically. We're going to do it. We're not going to do it. So every week is going to change.
Right.
So that's where we're right now, you know. So we were a little rusty, you know, transitions and stuff like that, but we got through and we had a ball. And we didn't play since March 14th. So we played, what was that? What was the date on that? The last Sunday, Father's Day, 17th?
Something like that, yeah.
It was 3 months. So we've been doing music, but not live. We've been doing music in our own rooms and playing on Zoom with the other band members or joining something or whatever. So it's been interesting, but it's also been fun, you know?
Yeah, and it's really like, you know, despite the fact that you look about 10 years younger than I do, you're 62, and it's a blessing.
Good lighting, man.
I guess so, yeah. But it's a blessing. I'm liking how my schnoz looks when I get this close. There we go. But,
looks good. Looks good.
No, the fact that
I have no nose.
That's right. It's a powerful nose. But I love the fact that here you are. You know, you're in your early 60s, and you're having the time of your life, and you're bringing happiness to people. So I think it's a big pile of positive as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah. Well, listen. Life could get you down quick, and I'm not going to let that happen to me. I'm going to go until I can't go no more. And when God or someone tells me that you can't do it no more, then I'll know myself when I can't do it anymore. Right. But right now, you know, I got the Freehold gene. So
yeah, very cool.
That's what I say. You know, I got the Freehold gene. So as long as I can keep going, I'm just going to keep going. With my voice goes, it goes. Huh?
That is beautiful. So that is the perfect way to round up the show. You got the Freehold gene. I love that. That could be a song. I think you got to write a song called "I Got the Freehold Gene."
I'll work on that.
All right. Well, Eddie, Testa, I want to thank you very much. This was a lot of fun, as I knew it would be.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure. Thanks for asking me to do it. I appreciate it. Tell Scott thank you so much and everybody else involved. But it was nice of you guys to ask me and want to do this. And I really do appreciate it.
Well, I had a great time with you. Well, have a great night. This is Dave Cohen from Guitar Tells everybody. Have a great night, and we'll be safe too. Take care.